Hey guys, John here. Welcome back to another video. So the dust and the hype has kind of settled down a little bit on the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. So I've had some time to step back, think about 5 things that really impressed me, what I really like about this new Land Cruiser, and also 5 things that I kind of dislike and that I felt that Toyota really missed on this platform for the 2024 model years. So of course we're gonna start with the good and we'll end with the bad. Let me know too down in the comments what you guys think of this new Land Cruiser, some of the good and the bad as well. So we'll start with the good, the looks. This thing looks awesome. I love the front end. I love the 2 different light options that it has. The very circular, original, FJ styled front headlights, and also the FJ62 inspired rectangular triple beam LED headlights. I think it looks really good. The color options that they have for this, my 2 favorite being the Heritage Blue color and also the Trail Dust color. I cannot decide, guys, if I would get one of these in Heritage Blue with the grayscape roof or the Trail Dust. I love that yellow. It's just something unique. It looks really freaking good. The looks and everything of this thing, from the front end all the way to the rear end, the 80 series, the 60 series, the 40 series, just everything about this Land Cruiser, 1958 one, just everything about it just looks really good, really old school. The interior's decently old school with some modern tech, just the whole side profile, glimpse of FJ Cruiser like on the mirrors, just everything about it. I think it looks really, really good. Now, unpopular opinion, I think it looks better than the 300 series that we don't get here in the United States. Going to thing number 2 that I like about this one, it is made in Japan. So it's made at 2 different plants in Japan. Hopefully the production numbers will be up there, but the quality we can expect from this vehicle, because it is a flagship name from Toyota, even though overseas it's considered the Prado, so it's not like the big dog 300 series. Here in the United States it's gonna be the Land Cruiser. So hopefully with the fact that it's made in Japan, we're getting a very good, high quality vehicle. The third thing, no air suspension or KDSS, which I like. Some people may not like it. Some people will want KDSS or EKDSS with this. I like that it's just raw suspension, because if you want to upgrade the suspension on this vehicle, you're not going to have to worry about any hydraulic fluid, any electronics, none of that BS in the way. This is just a simple-ish style off-roader from Toyota. You can rip out the new suspension that Toyota developed for this vehicle, put in some aftermarket stuff, because you know the aftermarket scene is going to be all over this vehicle. I think that's really cool that they just did a very basic suspension setup on this Land Cruiser. The fourth thing, talking about visibility. This vehicle, when I was sitting in it, guys, and looking all around, the D pillars are kind of big and also the C pillars, but for the most part, the visibility is insane, especially the windshield. The windshield is raked at a very, very good angle that you could just see out of this Land Cruiser with ease, right? And it's gonna have a full 360 camera view on certain options too for good visibility while on and off-road or mall parking lots. But too, just all the windows and everything with it are very, very tall, and it's a super easy vehicle. I hope, I haven't driven it yet, but it's gonna be a very easy vehicle to drive and see out of both on and off-road. And the last thing I like, guys, before we get into my dislikes with the vehicle, is the price. Now, I know $55,000, they said starting at mid $50,000 range, is not cheap for a lot of people. I get that, right? But the Land Cruiser 200 series, the very outdated Land Cruiser 200 series that we had here in the United States, started in the $80,000 range. This vehicle is starting $25,000 under that. It's not as big as it. It's not as big as the Sequoia. It doesn't have a V8. It doesn't have a V6, which I'm gonna talk about in my dislikes, but it is a very affordable vehicle, slotting itself in between the 4Runner and the Sequoia. So it's not gonna cost crazy 80-something thousand dollars like a Tier Pro Sequoia. We don't know the top trim level numbers yet, but the Sequoia caps out at around $80,000. I hope that this one caps out around 65 to 70, we'll see, I'm not sure yet, but it starts at the mid 50s, and that is where the 4Runner Tier Pro, at least right now for 2023, that is where it stops. So my fifth and final thing, and we'll see when packaging and everything else comes out later, right? But at least as of right now, I really like the price tag being at around $55,000. So with the good out of the way, let's get into some of the misses from Toyota and some of my dislikes of this vehicle. So the first one, this is a 2-row SUV. Now I'm all about that, but the second row, at least on these prototypes that we saw, do not fold flat. They do not fold completely flat. So when you fold them down, they kind of had like a little uptick to them a little bit. And not only that, but from where the batteries are in the cargo area to where the seat folds flat, there's a void there. So if you were to put like an air mattress down or something, it may fill that void a little bit, but there is no completely flat platform, at least right out of the gate, and at least as of right now, from Toyota for this Land Cruiser to have a nice flat surface. So there may be some modification down the road that needs to happen back there, but that is one of my gripes. The second dislike, on the new 2024 Tacoma, I loved all the auxiliary switches, all the thought process that went through that vehicle. I was looking back at my footage, I looked back through the Toyota Land Cruiser press release. I did not see anything talking about auxiliary switches. Now, if they gave it to any grade, it should have been the 1958 because they are talking about that one being an off-road focused vehicle. It would have been nice to have aux switches, a little junction box inside the hood. You wire all your stuff down, or even like the Tacoma has, it has spots throughout the vehicle to where you just wire tie something into and you press an aux switch on the inside to control that certain area. So the fact that this one didn't have auxiliary switches straight from the factory, I feel like that is kind of a miss from Toyota. There will be those people that just have a full-on like Switch Pro setup or just a big box themselves that they can do. But for those of us that maybe just run ditch lights, maybe one light bar or something like that, a compressor, whatever, it would be nice to have 3 to 4 auxiliary switches just straight from Toyota so you don't have to spend money again after buying a vehicle and doing all that stuff. Now, number 3, it's not really that big of a deal, but it kind of is when you're spending $55,000 on something. And again, it may have just been because these were prototypes, but these things had a prop hood. I think prop hoods should just be a thing of the past. Just pay the money, get gas struts, and just let us open the hoods like this. I absolutely hate prop hoods, but that is my number 3, which propping the hood open leads to my number 4, and that is no V6 option. So I was really hoping that, you know, if Toyota keeps the 4Runner, which that will be a separate video, that this Land Cruiser was gonna be a V6, like the GX. Now, I'm not talking crap on this iForce Max motor that Toyota decided to put in this Land Cruiser, but I will say though, it would have been cool to have a V6 option, maybe in the upper trim levels, not forcing you to go straight to Lexus. Now I get that that may be their strategic price marketing, like hey, if you want this same vehicle but you want it a V6 and not hybrid, move over to Lexus. And now you're part of the Lexus family, now you're spending more money on Lexus forever. That may have been their play with that, but I just really felt like the Land Cruiser, because like you have the Sequoia with the iForce Max, right? The hybrid version of that V6, and then you had the Land Cruiser that would have had just the normal twin turbo V6, and then you have the 4Runner that was rocking this iForce Max setup. So the fact that this Land Cruiser has that iForce Max setup and not the V6, like it's not the end of the world because the performance numbers are still really good. At least on paper, we will see how it drives. And then also, you know, Toyota was talking about on their website, until they took it off, that this thing may potentially get 27 mpg combined. And we know, and God knows that the Sequoia does not get that, right? The Sequoia only gets like maybe 20. I don't think we ever got 20 with our TRD Pro when we had it. So maybe they didn't do that because they just wanted it to get better gas mileage, because looking at the GX, that thing's gas mileage is absolutely atrocious. So maybe that was another factor too. And now guys, my last thing that I dislike about it, and it kind of has to go with the 1958 grade. So I said that I was excited that it started at $55,000, but for the 1958 grade, I wish that it had a couple things even for that price tag. So I wish it had the 12.3 inch screen. It would have been cool to see that screen standard across all Land Cruisers, just like they did the Grand Highlander. No matter if it's an XLE, Limited, or the Platinum on the Grand Highlander, you got that 12.3 inch screen standard. I wish that they did that here with this new Land Cruiser. And I also wish on the 1958 that you could get Softex seats. So now, I mean, the cloth seats look good on the 1958. They're very old school looking too, but I just really wish that there was like a premium package, and maybe there will be at the time of launch, for the 1958 to have the bigger screen and also the Softex seats. And with that too, with the 1958, I wish that they gave it bigger tires. Now, the tires that they put on it, the 245/70 R18s, they are kind of throwaway tires. I mean, they're around a 31, right? But they are very street looking tires. They're very street looking tires, and Toyota did that because this whole vehicle, they said, is basically a platform for the person who buys it to put whatever they want on it, right? So they could put whatever they want on it, which is nice, but you're just buying a vehicle and immediately throwing tires away. It would be cool if they had maybe like the BFGs that they have on the Tacoma TRD Off-Road. If they put that on the Land Cruiser, I think that that would have been nice, even though they're around a 31-inch tire and not quite a 33, or maybe it's an option to opt for those from the factory. We will see again when packaging comes out. But at least like what I saw on the 1958, I just wish that it had just a little bit more for the price tag of $55,000. And a bonus for you guys, there's really only two grades to choose from. There's the 1958, the Land Cruiser grade, and then the limited first edition one, right? And who knows what they'll turn that into the next year for 2025 and 2026 and so on. But really there's only two grades to choose from, the 58 and the Land Cruiser. Now it keeps it simple, which is what the Land Cruiser was, but it would have been cool to see like a more like TRD Pro option, or even, you know, introduce a Trail Hunter with this one. It'd be nice to have options, but you know, Toyota, they're very simple in their ways. Easy production line, streamlining the money, right, for them, but also that's how they stay reliable too, by not having so many options. So that was a little bonus for you guys. What do you think about my pros and cons of the new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser? Let me know down in the comment section, and I will catch you all in the next one. All right, see you later.